I think if you could look back maybe 10, 15 years when everyone was bringing D2C to market, I think the single thing that no one could have really anticipated, in a word, churn. I think we've seen sort of the economics of media and of subscription media in particular just really be changed by consumer behavior. Consumers are signing up for services, they're canceling, they're resubscribing. We're seeing just very different consumer dynamics that have a material impact on how to monetize media in the digital age. And I think, just bubbling over the conversation that we were all having before we even got on the stage, I think the headlines of the past few weeks really show where the market's headed with bundling specifically. So I think I'd like for us to start out there with talking about what we're seeing in the market with bundling. And I think, Giles, I think you'll be a great person to get us started on this topic. So I think my question to you, there's a lot of bundling in the market. Is it cable 2.0 or is it something different?
It's kind of, but it's different. So we've let a genie out of the bottle, which is subscription products. So that's sort of leading to the unbundling of cable. So that means it's not cable. But what that's led to is a huge confusion and subscription fatigue that we all know and we all experience. We subscribe to something via a grocery receipt, or we went to a website and subscribed there, or we got it free with our telco. So this has created a great fatigue for consumers. And what they're looking for is to get back control. And this, again, is why it's different, because with the bundling, we're now seeing an opportunity to give people back control, to consolidate their subscriptions once again. And they're looking for that control. We have lots of data which says if they could regain that control, then they'll be able to subscribe to more products and enjoy more services if they have that control back. A third of people are subscribing to products they're not even using. So it's a mess at the moment. So it's not quite cable 2.0. It's a recalibration of the market, bringing things together. And if we get it right, there's a big opportunity there, which telcos with bundling. There's lots of, like in the last 2 weeks, lots of bundles coming together now, which are evidence of the benefit that's going to come out of this for consumers, where they'll eventually get a better outcome as a result, get back control, and maybe get a better value product out of it through these bundles.
Interesting. Mark, do you have any
thoughts on this? Giles, you said a number of things that we see in our research as well, that the proliferation of platforms and content that people have has made it difficult to find, to discover the things that they want to consume and watch. This simplifies a little bit. It helps them control their subscriptions, as you said. Another thing that we found, which is one of the more, what I found one of the more surprising results, is that if these services are bundled on your cable, satellite, telco provider, there's higher customer satisfaction with that service. So if you're a Comcast or you're a Charter and you see that kind of data, and I have to believe that if we see it in our results, they see it in their proprietary consumer research, why wouldn't you do these things? Why wouldn't you roll out the voice activated remote, all these things that help people organize, discover, and ultimately be more satisfied with their service.
Fantastic. I'm also curious, this is for Adam specifically, or Anastasia, you can also weigh in. I think it's interesting how market consolidation or bundling impacts different types of players in the space. So I'm wondering if you could speak to, I think, Adam, how does bundling of content impact the work that you're doing specifically with Philo, or how do you think the market looks going into the future?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, I always say it's an interesting time to be in this industry. But I think like what we've seen over the last 5+ years is distributors have had content partners that now look more and more like competitors, as well as there've been more attention and more content funneled into direct-to-consumer products. And so I think for bundling and what some of these more recent announcements have impact on players like ourselves is on the one hand, it's opportunity. Like I think what we're seeing is that a lot of these companies have realized that it's very tough to, and very expensive, to program year-round to keep people in their specific product when there's so much competition. And so you're seeing a lot of these players who kind of had a, we'll go it alone, we have the best content, we have the best strategy. You're seeing them kind of look at other partners in the space that historically they wouldn't have worked with and being much more open to partnering in that sense to kind of, to keep people in their products longer and to rely on other people to bring content to the subscribers they have. So not cable 2.0, but kind of a similar concept. And I think for specifically for players like us, it's an opportunity because we're seeing those people partner in ways that, that they haven't, and we still, with being very focused on linear TV, still provide an important revenue stream for our partners. And I think that, you know, them having additional products is an opportunity for us to kind of work with them in a new way, enhance the value that we're bringing to our subscribers, and ultimately name the game, keep them subscribed with us for longer.
Fantastic. Anastasia, I'm curious, understanding that you work with a lot of the major streamers today, what's your read on the conversation, and how does bundling potentially impact your work?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's something we're talking about day in and day out. It looks like every day there's a new announcement on a new bundle, right? Rich Greenfield called it bundle-itis in some ways. But it's kind of a back to basics to answer your original question. Is this, similar to the cable bundle or not? In many ways, I'd say during cable, it was much easier, right? For the user, for the distributor, for those who had content, right? You sign up for a certain package and your content is distributed. Even now with all the bundles popping up, there's just so much choice. I think we talked about that already, but from the perspective of the streamer, it's equally difficult, right? You can't just launch these overnight. There are contractual, operational, technical considerations. You can't just light up these bundles immediately. So I think that fragmentation is definitely causing some headaches, right? On the platform side, on the content side, we're all trying to figure it out together. And look, as a platform, we're really at that, at the center of the ecosystem, right? We want to support our partners if they want to launch bundles. And so we're innovating and investing in the technology to do that from a payments perspective. And we're having these conversations day in and day out. And, I think launching the bundle is just the first step of the process. You still need a user to sign up. You still need to market the bundle. You need to retain that user. So all the same principles apply. I think we're seeing churn that's much lower for bundles, somewhere in the ballpark of 40% less. But, is that still enough to sustain these bundles? So I think that's the question that we're asking ourselves.